It is 37 days until I go back on tour for the first time in almost 10 years. And of course, that is the fun way to say it because, gotta be all like, hey guys, what's up? But it's like the first time in 7, 8 years. 7 years? 7, 8. Yeah, something like that. It's been a long time, which is still almost 10 years. And I'm excited. I have a lot of big feelings about it. And I just wanted to talk through that a little bit, which I also guess that technically makes this episode 3 of Here to Check In, a podcast I started 3 months ago and I made 2 episodes of. And then I was like, what? And I forgot about it. You guys have seen me try a lot of things. If you've been here for a minute, you've seen me try stuff, try YouTube channels, try a series, try a video model out, try a hairstyle, try new styles, like all this stuff, right? And sometimes it sticks, sometimes it doesn't. And I'm just grateful for all of you guys that are still here and all the trying and attempting and failing and succeeding and pausing and resuming. Because I don't really know a human that doesn't have that as a general experience, trying things, figuring out life as we go. I don't know a human that doesn't have that experience, but I am grateful that I have humans, you guys, that are just here to hang out as I'm on this journey of doing that in a creative context, if you will. This tour is it's different from tours that I've done in the past. So I have had tours that I would say were easier from the logistical standpoint. And then I've had tours that were much harder than this one from a logistical standpoint. And so career-wise, it's kind of cool to be in the middle and like exploring like what that means, right? So I'll back up a little bit and explain that that spectrum of logistics, if you will. So one of the things that has made touring in the past, like sometimes logistically, let's just say easier or smoother, right? One of two things, as I, put up 3 fingers, one of two things. And one is that sometimes I have toured with like really big companies that have a lot of resources and a lot of like funding, and the touring is easy from that perspective. Right now, that doesn't mean that people are not putting in hard work. But just when you have a different amount of resources, it can be easier, right? And so that's been one of the two things. The other thing is that I have typically toured when I had a new song on radio, and I feel very privileged that almost every song that we've pitched to radio, and I say we because have worked with a fluctuating team over the last 19 years, but almost every song has done really well at radio. Thanks radio and listeners and everything. So I don't have either of those two things right now. I'm not working with a huge team with the kind of resources, if you will, nor is there a new song of mine that's like top in the charts, right? So that can make this tour logistically, it can make it a little bit more challenging. But on the flip side of that, I don't know what that beep was. What was that beep? Something's happening. On the flip side of things, something that has been so much easier about this tour. Like if we, a lot of the tours that I was just referencing in the radio singles and stuff, right? Let's say that was when I was ages 19 to 26, 19 to 25, right? So if we look at my career from ages 14 to 18, and even a little bit into like 14 to 20, 21 years old, a little bit, the thing that makes this tour easier, and this is going to sound so cheesy, but like, y'all are here. It is so different. Like I remember being, 16, 17 years old, and the tours I was putting together, it was me and my sister and my mom being like, okay, pals, let's go on tour, and thankfully, because they're awesome, we were able to make it happen. But Um, I had some of a YouTube following, but a lot of the shows I was playing, and like I said, even into, 19, 20, 21 years old, a lot of the shows I was playing, I was being introduced to people. And of course, not the whole world doesn't know who I am, right? So there's still times where I'm being introduced as a new artist to people, but especially until I was like 20, 21. I was being introduced to people, which is super cool. I have always loved getting to play music for people that don't know who I am. And also low key people that are not interested in like the first song or whatever the physical perception is that they have. Like if I walk out on stage and they're like, in my head, I'm like, I'm going to get you. Like, that is just like, that's like the younger sibling in me. That's like I don't know if I'm an Enneagram 7. Who knows? Who knows numbers? What is math? What is art? What is time? You know what I mean? Like, that's just like I'm gonna turn it all around. What am I supposed to? What were they talking about? But anyways, the point they're making is like, so playing to someone else's audience or playing to a new audience. Oh, love it. But that is for all technical points, right? That is harder logistically to plan a tour and not know if people are going to show up, to book a venue and to, put your deposit down and all that stuff and not know if people are going to show up. And that is something that has made this tour comforting, honestly, I think is the best word I could use, because y'all are buying tickets and saying, hey, I've been wanting to see you in concert since I was 12. I'm in college now. Like, this is the coolest thing. And I'm over here like, oh, this is so beautiful. Like, I'm getting like super emotional. Like, I met a girl at a show. I played a show in Maine this past weekend. Her name was Rachel, or Achael. And she walked up to me and she said, I have been a fan of yours for 14 years. And I'm sitting there like, 14 years. Let's do math. I'm not good at math. I'm 33 years old. What is half of 33? That is like kind of half of my life. Like, it's not precisely half, right? But that number honestly kind of messed me up a little bit. And like in an emotional way. And I posted a thing on my Instagram today about like how some people would be like, yeah, like I was raised on Jamie Grace or grew up listening to Jamie Grace. That is something that is so new. That is different from any tour that I've done before, right? Any arena of tens of thousands of fans that I've ever played before. Like, yeah, man, that's cool stuff. Like, a lot of resources provide that type of opportunity. But there is something absolutely like humbling about someone saying like, yeah, your music got me through middle school and high school and my 20s. And now my 3-year-old listens to you. Like, first of all, how old do you think I am? Were you listening to me when I was singing songs in my mother's womb? Like, it's insane, but it's so cool. It's so, so, so cool. And it is such a privilege and an honor. And so we are 37 days away from this tour. And I absolutely cannot wait. I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun. It's going to be me and a full band. I can't wait to go out and play, some new songs, sure, but like all the oldies but goodies, if you will. I can't wait to be out on the road with you guys. One of the cool things about being an independent artist in 2025, if you will, is that there are so many like new and innovative and creative ways to make touring happen for artists like myself, right? 10, 15 years ago, back in the old days, for an artist like myself that's independent, and self-funded, if you will, meaning all of the funding for everything I make comes from YouTube videos and Patreon and things like that. So, for artists like myself, it used to just kind of be that touring either wasn't possible or it would just send you into debt, or you just kind of gotta, link up with someone with more resources and funding and that kind of stuff. But there are like a lot of innovative ways now that are making it more sustainable and making it more possible for indie artists. And so I've teamed up with this awesome company called B-Side. So if you happen to see like anything on the touring and you see a date and you see the city and you see the date and you don't see the venue yet, that is intentional, right? That is because this awesome company, B-Side, they've done stuff with artists like James Blake and Goldford, a lot of mainstream artists, not a lot of kids like me, but I'm excited to do something a little different, right? And yeah, they've had awesome success with these tours where the fans kind of come together, not kind of, but the fans come together, buy tickets to the show, and then they lock in a venue in that city that they promoted. Because if they didn't, that'd be like bad. They lock in a venue that makes sense for the artist, right? So in some cities, it might be like, yeah, well, you have 3,000 fans in Atlanta, but you have 600 fans in Kentucky, and you have 350 in Pittsburgh, right? It's a way to make touring make sense for artists like me and allows me to get back on the road and see my fans and sing with you guys and hang out with you guys. I'm so excited. It's been a long time coming. I have never stopped making music. I've definitely, attempted to retire, but I've never necessarily like fully left artistry and creating, if you will. But I am very much, how many years am I? 7 years married and a homeschool mom of a rising first grader. And I'm going back on tour, right? And so it's a little different. It's quite unique, but I trust that you guys are going to be along with me for the journey because that's what we do. We try new things. We have a good time. We sing songs together. And we have a lot of fun. And ultimately, I was about to say something real lame, but I decided not to. But anyways, yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you guys for your love and your support and all the things. Thank you for singing along with me all these years. We've got some of the venues being announced actually in the next, like this week. Probably some more next week. Some churches, some traditional venues, and it'll be an all ages show. And I can't wait. So I'll see you guys soon. We're going to hop on the road. It's 9:15, which is kind of late. I'm literally about to go make dinner right now. It's kind of late, but it's been one of those days when you wake up not knowing. Okay.